It's Oliver Friesen here, the CEO of Golden Mountain Resources. I'm continuing my new series highlighting additional technical details on our four projects in our portfolio. Today, I'm focused on Golconda Summit. Now, Golconda Summit is a property in our portfolio that certainly does not get as much attention as Pilot Mountain. But what's interesting is when I do tell this story, investors get very excited about the potential here, and I'm also very excited about the potential here. So, where we're located right now is in northern Nevada, one of the most well gold endowed regions in the entire world. And these two trends here are two of the major producing gold trends in northern Nevada. It's a specific type of gold to northern Nevada called Carlin type gold. Now, if I just zoom into any of these symbols here, you'll see that these are very large gold mines that are located close to our property. There's another one. Large gold mining complexes. And these are all approximately within about 50 kilometers of Golconda Summit. So as you can tell, we are in the right part of the world. Also on top of that, you'll see Winnemucca, which is a major mining center, produces or supplies a lot of food, supplies, people to these nearby gold mines that I've highlighted to everyone. And you can see they're highlighted with these little black symbols. So obviously in a very well endowed region, Golconda Summit. But zooming in here, and it's not just the position of the property and the location and the proximity to these gold mines, but it's a geological potential that has us the most excited here. I'm just going to flip on a few layers. One of them being the historic trenching that was done, the other one being the property geology. So these are the faults that have been mapped on the property, and these faults are important because they provide a conduit for fluids to travel between the upper plate rocks and the lower plate rocks on the property. Now, the lower plate rocks are what you're looking for in northern Nevada. They're your carbonates, silty carbonates, which are good hosts for Carlin type gold. Upper plate rocks are typically not good hosts. Now, what's interesting about that is if I zoom in even further to historical trenching that's been done, this is all within the upper plate rocks on our property, which, as I mentioned, are not good hosts for gold. And I've actually converted some of these intercepts of trenching that were done. One of these intercepts here converts to about 7.6 meters at 19.7 grams per ton. Very, very high grade gold intercepts. This one here converts to 15.2 meters at 7.1 grams per ton. So as mentioned, these are very impressive intercepts to be located within the upper plate rocks. And what's interesting is this north-south trending line, that's an actual structure there, a fault, where, as I mentioned, these fluids can be remobilized from your lower plate rocks below, which host your Carlin type gold deposits. And what can happen is those fluids get remobilized and redeposit gold in the upper plate rocks. But the real prize, what you're looking for, is in the lower plate rocks below. And on our property, those units have never been adequately tested. I'm just going to zoom out one more time. Obviously, over the entire property, we have the upper plate rocks. But below that, and on our property, the upper plate rocks are approximately about 100 meters thick, so not thick at all. And below that, we have our lower plate strata. And I'm just going to flip to a quick geological cross section through our property to highlight exactly what I'm trying to get at here. Now, this is the main fault I was telling you about. The upper plate rocks is where we're finding out those really high grade gold intercepts on our property. But the real prize, as I mentioned, is in your lower plate rocks. And on Golconda Summit, we have the Edna Mountain, the Antler Peak, and the Preble formations, all which host gold deposits in northern Nevada. So they're all great hosts for gold mineralization and gold, Carlin type gold deposits. Now, I'm just going to read a quick excerpt from one of the previous reports done. 7 RC holes apparently penetrated the thrust plane a short distance into the upper Edna Mountain formation. So they penetrated just to the upper parts of this favorable lower plate unit. None intersected favorable lower calcareous members of the Edna Mountain Formation, which is this part here, or any other favorable calcareous units on the property. So what that means is that the historical work done identified some very significant mineralization at surface in the upper plate rocks. We have a vertical, subvertical type structure that can remobilize fluids from the lower plate rocks. But the best part is that no work has been done on the lower Edna Mountain Formation, Antler Peak, or Preble formations, which are the units you want to be looking and exploring for when you're looking for these Carlin type deposits. So I'm just going to quickly flip back to the property. But this is why we're so excited, is that we have these three very favorable units, which had never been adequately tested on our property. So we're looking forward to doing some additional trenching, doing some geological mapping to figure out where exactly we want it to be targeting. And then following that, we'll launch into a very low cost RC program, and we'll be the first company to test some of these lower plate units. So obviously, very exciting geological potential here, and I encourage investors to definitely keep an eye on this one as we move exploration forward on this asset in the latter half of 2022.